All right, guys. I'm excited to have on a guest of ours today, a friend, and someone that you guys probably, maybe, possibly have heard of, maybe not. I don't know, but he's like the ninja. But I say that because he's been a top producer. His agency did $1.2 million last month in business. And he's actually in the process of working a deal with Integrity, and that's a goal that we're all shooting for. So with no further ado, welcome John Gavin to our call.
Hey, thanks, Julius. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited.
So most people probably, I don't know if they know your story or not. So if you can share a little bit about kind of, how long you've been here, how you got started, and then let's get right into like, what does it look like in terms of building a business?
Sure. So, and I know that most people don't know who I am, and I'm okay with that. So I actually started with the company when the company started. My Americo number is in the double digits and low double digits, which I don't even know if I can say what it is out loud, but I was one of the first 44 people in the company out of how many hundreds of thousands that we've contracted since then. I came from another company where the comp was really low and we had to pay for everything. So when I came on board, I was broke. In fact, I was so broke, it actually cost me money to be broke through overdraft fees. That's a new kind of broke, is when you actually have to pay to be broke. So that's where I was when I started. Things turned around pretty quickly for me at FFL. I think in the first 6 weeks I was on board here, we didn't have a lead system and we only had one carrier, and I had $17,000 deposited into my account in the first 6 weeks. And so that made me realize that, this is a lot different than the company I was at before, and there's a real possibility to make some money here. And for the first several years I was here, I just didn't have any interest in building an agency. I just wanted to sell insurance and help people out and make as much money as I possibly could. And that's what I did for the first, 4 years I was here. I didn't have any agents. I just plugged along and sold insurance. And I was really happy just not being broke anymore, and if I needed to do something, I could do it. I had 2 small kids. I could spend a lot of time with them. And then the culture at FFL started changing because we really solidified ourselves as one of the leaders in the industry. We were sort of on little rough footing in the beginning, because we started off with a new IMO. Everyone wanted us to fail. We didn't. Once we didn't fail and we started growing, and then it turned into the machine that it is today. But about 4 years ago, I decided I wanted to build an agency for the first time, and I started hiring. And when I first started hiring, I did what most of us do is I looked around to see who I knew that was looking to make some extra money, or, I didn't think anybody would make a career change, because if you haven't picked up on this, I'm not 25. So most of the people I know have been in their careers for quite some time, and I just figured, everyone that's been at their job 10, 20 years, 15 years, whatever it might be, is pretty solid there and not looking to make a change. So I reached out to some people I thought might be looking to make some extra money, picked up a few of those. So it was just me and a couple of my friends working. Started hiring a little bit of cold market, but as anybody that's hiring cold market knows, that's a tough spot to be in. It's tough when you first start off. You don't have a system in place. You kind of, hiring cold market is similar to a new agent buying leads. You hire a little bit and then at a little bit at a time, and then you put all in and you slow down. Like, you don't have that 100% faith in the hiring process. Just like when a new agent comes on board, they don't have 100% faith in buying leads. So they're not all in every day, doing it every day. Just like hiring, I was hiring intermittently. And when you're doing that, it's, you have to hire volume, because anyone can do this. Our process that we have today is so simple. We buy leads, we dial in, we go sell insurance. If you're hiring intermittently, you're not going to find those people that stick, and then you get disappointed. And what I did early on was I got emotionally involved with the people I was hiring. I was trying to hire an agent and get them to where I was, because I was doing 30, 40, 50. Excuse me. I had several months where I did over $100,000 in volume, issue paid business in a month. I wanted them to get there. but that's not what everybody wanted. I wanted it more than what they did. So rather than hiring in the masses and finding out who wanted to work, I'd find one agent. It's just like planting one seed and just watering the hell out of it until it drowns. And that's what I was doing early on. And so over time, I was working with Matt Smith, Sean Ruggiero, and Sean Mike as well too. And I started hiring on a massive scale and hiring cold market, putting myself out there a lot more on a continuous basis. And that's the biggest thing, was changing it to do it consistently. No matter what happens in your hiring process, just keep doing it consistently. And you just never know who's going to work out. I mean, the best story I have for hiring was in one day, I met two Brads. I met a guy who was the #1 ADT, which is Home Security Systems, #1 ADT agent in the state of Washington, made well over $200,000 a year. He was capped out. He had all the closing lines down. He had all the sales techniques. He was so personable, so likable. And then I met another guy who had never sold anything in his life and was a little socially awkward. So hired both of them, bring them on board. And I was so excited about Brad, because he had all the sales background. And to make a long story a little bit shorter, out of those two Brads I hired that day, I thought the world of this one, and this one I was just given a chance to. This guy flamed out. I don't even know his last name. The guy I didn't think too highly of is Brad Allen, who writes $1 million every year, now $100,000 every month. He was socially awkward. He had no sales experience. But in this business, we don't know who's going to succeed. And when you start deciding who's going to be successful and who's not going to, you're going to be wrong most of the time. You just have to provide the opportunity to everybody out there and then see who does all the right things. And so then we started slowly growing from there. We hit our peak. Then you find someone like Brian Rollins. Brian Rollins is in my group. He's hiring on a massive scale, and then you find some other people that want to grow with you. So we are at our peak. We hit 1.6 million issued paid business. That was about 4 months ago. But just like any business, not everything goes perfectly, and we had a pretty big setback. We lost a big group. But once they left, when the managers that were left here looked around, they were going to leave at some point anyway. They were never bought into the FFL system. They weren't buying leads religiously. They weren't buying. They weren't selling the Americo products. They weren't selling simplified issue. They were always looking to do weird things that were not our business model. They came from a different place, and then they tried to take that business model and implement it here, which it kind of worked and it provided some volume, but it was never going to be sustainable. It's not what we do. And then they ended up fading out. And so we took a pretty big hit and a pretty big step back. And excuse me, I'm fighting off that COVID thing.
Let's hold on that topic for a second.
Yeah.
I think that's something that is important to touch on, right? So you said you hired a group. They came from another agency, right?
Yeah.
And then they weren't really following the FFL system. What were they? Were they just like half in, half out? What did that look like? What does that mean?
They were doing. They were hiring other people and then doing splits with them. And they were telling people to go hire their friends, and they'd sell insurance to their family, and they would do splits with them and that sort of thing. They definitely weren't buying leads. I think some of you probably know who they are. Not the names, but the group that they come from, because that's their business model, is that they hire people and they go make them sell insurance to their friends, but they put them on for 50%. Wow. And that's what their business model is. And so they write a lot of IULs. They started doing fully underwritten because it's cheaper. And so they provide us with volume because they were big enough where they sold insurance, but they weren't bought into our system. And that doesn't work here. All they did was take their platform that they had over there and get higher comp here. They eventually just faded out.
Did they eventually switch, or what happened?
They jumped ship to another company. And it's ironic enough that, we've rebounded, we're bouncing back, we're growing back again, and they're coming back on board because the other company wasn't what they said they were going to be.
Grass isn't always greener.
It's not greener at all. Yeah. So now they want the leads. Now they want to buy into our system. Now they went someplace else and they got their butts kicked, and now they want to come back.
Got it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So John, share with us a little bit, like, we're all trying to grow. I think one of the things that we see in our organization is that, like, our team, FFL Republic, we're kind of heavy in one leg, right? So yep. Were you ever at a point where maybe one of your teams was heavier and you were trying to build, or maybe you were kind of you're in the building process, but you kind of weren't getting momentum. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I think, one of the things our team has experienced over the last year is we had a lot of momentum in the beginning half of the year. The second half of the year, we kind of hit a little bit of a lull. So it, now catching momentum again going into 2022.
So I have experienced that. In fact, my biggest leg at one point got to be 70% of my business. So it was my biggest leg by far. And a lot of things happen when that leg first came on. They were all new, and I'd been in the business a while, so I was helping them along and coaching them up, and not paying attention to anything outside of here, because that was my biggest group at the time. I want to get them going. By the time they got going, they really got going, and then it became 70% of my business. And then I didn't have much outside of that. So, sorry about that. So what we did afterwards is you really have to focus on structure in this business for a few different reasons, because you want to have 3 to 4 to 5 legs going at all times. You don't want to be heavy in one leg. Once somebody grows to that extent, they're self-contained. They don't need your help. Even though you think you want to help them out, they don't need your help. Let them be. Focus on other things. Focus on developing leaders outside of that group. And I looked at outside of that group what leaders I had. In my mind, I didn't have much, to be honest with you. So you have to develop leaders. And I did that in a couple different ways. I started matching up agents that were similar, whether it was in a certain area. I had a group in St. Louis that were all direct to me. And I took the best one of all of them, the one that was producing the most, the one was actually hiring, and I gave him all the agents in St. Louis. And so he started developing his area out there. So even though he didn't come to me as hey, I want to be a leader, I talked to him, coached him up, and then said, hey, if you produce enough, $20,000 a month, every single month, relentlessly, if you put yourself out there and you start hiring on your own, I will help you build. And so that's what I do now, is I'm actually helping other agents build, whether it's through proximity, whether it's similar age range or demographics, people that are similar in personality types, and then grouping those people together so they can work together and I'm helping them build their agencies. And that's helping them grow. Once somebody gets a few agents, and once they learn how to manage, once they learn how to help other people grow, then they take it on themselves and start doing it themselves, where I don't have to do it as much. But in order to grow outside of my biggest leg, I had to develop leaders, whether they thought they were or not, So that's how we started doing that.
All right. So what are some things you would share if you would go back, right? And we have some leaders on here that are working on getting to VP, right? They have some agents, they have a team that they're working on, structure, culture, probably not even structure yet because it's too early on when you're not at VP, but more so getting people writing, helping them out. What would you say if you went back to yourself and you were trying to push for VP? What advice would you give yourself to get to VP faster? Because I think that's one of the things, like we got some really talented people on our team, John, that can sell at a high level, that know how to hire and build. And I think they're in that moment of like, all right, I got to get to VP. I'm pushing for it, but what can I do more of different? So what advice would you give those folks?
Getting to VP is getting to 20 to 25 writing agents per month. Okay. To get to 20 to 25 writing agents, you have to understand that you're going to have to hire 100. At that point in time, a lot of times that's when you're first starting out, obviously. And a lot of the legwork you're doing on your own. You need to talk to every single person you could possibly think of about the FFL opportunity. And I think that we're in a really good spot because this is an opportunity where you can actually make really good money. I mean, there's a lot of people on here, like you said, that people are selling at a pretty high clip. They're making really good money. And I would share that with everybody. Putting your posts on social media. You never know who you're going to attract. I hired my girlfriend's ex-husband. So he's not somebody, he was doing well in dental sales. I wouldn't think that he'd ever be looking for a new career. I see him every other weekend. I never thought he'd want to sell insurance. But I started putting myself out there and he knew that I was doing better. And then he pulled me aside and he said, hey, is this something you think I can do? And I said, absolutely. It's something that anybody can do. But I think that on the ground floor, trying to get to VP, and I think that that's so important, is getting to VP, getting to $150,000 a month issue paid is so huge, because getting to the other numbers, the 300, the senior vice president, executive vice president, all you're doing is doing the things that you took to get to VP and doing more of it, and then creating yourself and somebody else. So getting the VP is actually the biggest step, is because you're learning how to hire, you're learning how to get people going, you're learning how to get people to get leads, get them on the phone, getting dialing. The rest of those numbers, as they get bigger, is just doing more of that. So I think on the ground floor, you just need to talk to every single person you can possibly think of. Here's the, if you don't have a hiring budget, social media is awesome. We started posting on social media. We're doing these stupid little TikToks now. One of my TikToks has been seen 375,000 times. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I personally would never think to do it. It's that dumb. But my assistant did it, and it's been seen 375,000 times. We probably get 10 people a day that get on our calendar link, get on our schedule, and want to know what we're doing by this moronic TikTok. Yeah.
Dude, tell me how you really feel.
What's that?
Tell me how you really feel.
Oh, I cannot, I would not in a million years would I put that out there, but she did it. It's like, hey, 50,000, hey, 100,000, hey, 200,000, hey, 350,000. And we got rid of some of the things that we were doing before, because I think in this business, we have to move fast. If something's working really well, do more of it quickly. If something's not working out, stop doing it immediately. We stopped doing something that we've been doing for years because it wasn't working, but it took us years to realize that. We switched over to 100% social media, and my hiring managers, their calendars never drop. Their schedules are always full, but it's all through social media now. And people just putting themselves on the schedule trying to find out what it is that we do.
Are you not using job boards anymore? Are you just 100% social media?
Dropped them all. Got rid of all of them.
Okay. So, because dude, I'll be honest. I mean, I still use job boards, right? Like, so so let's talk about that, because maybe we can all learn something here, right? So you went from job, because, I still advertise in Zip. Some of our team does, Indeed, whatever, right? But if you're doing 100% social media, what did that shift look like? And what is your team doing? So
here's how well it worked. I didn't even know we did it. So I met with the staff. I said, hey, look, if we look at who we've gotten and how much we've spent, because I'm not opposed to spending money. I'll spend whatever it costs to grow. But I started looking back, like, who have we gotten from this advertisement platform that we've been using? And we've seen some great faces. There's some great people that we hired, but they're not with us anymore. They didn't start. Something happened. So whoever, I don't know, but we're not getting anything from that. And I know that Nina and Hayden are growing faster than anybody else, and they spend $0 on their hiring. So I said, we have nothing to lose. Let's give that a shot. We want to go 100% social media. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to the hiring platforms. Sure. Well, we're a month into it. I travel quite a bit. And so we had our next staff meeting. And I said, so when are we going to drop? When are we going to drop Zip? When are we going to drop Engage? Some of the ones we've been using. And they go, we already did. I go, how long ago? And they said, the day after that meeting. I'm like, but hiring, I haven't seen any difference in hiring. They're like, no, it just picked up like that. Okay, and so we dropped all of our hiring platforms. What's that?
Dropped your hiring. You went to social media. So where are you generating all these leads from?
TikTok, Instagram. What are they using? LinkedIn a little bit, reaching out to people on LinkedIn. My hiring manager, one of my hiring managers just gave me a list yesterday. She took a few days and did some research through all LinkedIn and got me the phone numbers of about 100 managers at other companies. And I'm going to spend some time calling through those tomorrow.
So you're just going to cold call them basically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll call them, but they have a Calendly link on all their social media. And every day they get up, their calendar is full. And it's just based off of the social media posts that we use. And they're all simple stuff. It's who's doing what. We got away from a lot of, we did some podcasts, and the podcasts aren't, the ABCs of insurance sales. It's like, who are you as a person? What were you doing before? What are you doing now? How has your life changed? And I think that those stories attract people a lot better than what do you say when you go in a home? How do you overcome this objection? Those are all great, but we've got enough of that out there. What we want is people to know that we're real people. Our agents are real people. What did you do before? What's your day look like? And just personalize it a lot more.
Is there anything specific you can share with us on generating the leads on social media? Because genuinely, dude, I have no idea. Like, I don't know how to do it. I use it. We use Instagram, and we don't get that many leads. We use LinkedIn. We get some people. So is there anything you can share with those platforms, what you do that we can look to duplicate?
I think the biggest thing is just doing the content regularly, adding new content regularly. It doesn't even have to be good. Like the one that I don't know if the camera would show it. I would show you the one that's been seen 357,000 times. It's my assistant laughing.
Send me the link. I'll share it on the screen. Text it to me.
All right.
I'll share it on the Zoom. All right, I got it. All right, so let me.
Yeah, 359,000, I think.
All right, hang on. Share screen. Share. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Like, dude, that's it? Like,
that's it. 359,000 views.
All right, guys, if you're on here and you're watching this, we can all do that. Like that. Yeah. Like if you drop a yes if you can do that in the chat, you guys. I mean, that is so simple. So that's it. And so is this just your staff? Is it your team? Like everyone doing it? What's going on?
My staff does it a lot. We're trying to promote it with our agents, and they're doing a lot more of it too. But some of them were so uncomfortable when they see something like that and how simple it is. They're like, what? And it's not even like the hashtags or anything like that. We literally just put that out there and that one just took off. And then, so now that people see that one, now other ones have been seen 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 times too.
So
is
most of your leads coming from TikTok more than the others?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so TikTok gets you the visibility, then they go to probably the other sites.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. They go to our Instagram, they see the stories. Yeah, they go through that all. And so just so you know, we've been doing this about 6 weeks now. And all the questions you're asking me, I was asking Nina. Like, what do we do? How do you get it seen? How do you put it? How do you make it? How do you do this? And all of a sudden my staff just started putting those little ones out there, and then one just takes off. And that's kind of what Nina told me. It's like, there's no rhyme or reason. You just don't know. It's kind of like that Finding Nemo movie where all the stream of fish is going by. One just gets too close to it and gets sucked in. That's kind of the way these TikToks are, is for whatever reason, one takes off and then all the rest are seen too.
So once that one took off, then you had more visibility on your TikTok. Mm-hmm. And then I'm assuming just, the way people operate is they're going to go to your Facebook or your Instagram, and that's
get more followers everywhere. Yeah.
That's where now they see, okay, is this real on TikTok? Then they go to Instagram and Facebook, they see all the posts, they see, oh shit, my language, but this is a real thing. Let me. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So so TikTok is basically the opening of your funnel to get people to.
This creates visibility. Yeah. Wow. That's all it was.
Dude, that's so good. Thank you so much for that.
And so we thought we had to have the perfect thing out there. We just had to have something, and you just have to do it consistently, because it puts your name out there and something's going to catch at some point. You just don't know what it is. Just like me having the two Brads. I'm looking at one I think's a superstar, and I don't even know what this guy's going to do. This guy takes off like I never imagined. Just like the TikToks. You're not trying to get their attention where they want to sell insurance by watching a TikTok. You just want their views, and then it just expands to everything else.
Dude, that makes so much sense. That like just blew my mind. Like legit, that was really, really good.
Mine too. Trust me.
Like I've been trying to figure this freaking social media thing out. I'm posting pictures and videos and but that just made so much sense.
Yeah. So thank you. I think those pictures and videos are good, because when someone does come to your page, you want to have them see what you're about, and creates that validity, but you don't know which one it's going to be that draws them in.
That makes so much sense. John, I got to tell you, man, every time I talk to you, literally every time, from the first time I met you till now, you always have a way of saying something or putting something in a perspective that hits me between the eyes every freaking time.
That's awesome.
And I genuinely appreciate that.
Will you tell my kids that?
Yeah, sure. It's real. You didn't pay me. But no, seriously, man, in all honesty, like, you helped me become who I have become in this company. Your coaching, your guidance, your support. So I genuinely appreciate your help and your your mentorship and your friendship too, man. So
absolutely love working with you. And here's the thing, guys, for everybody on here, if you guys have hit a lull, we all have. No one is here alone. There's no secret sauce. You just have to listen to what everybody else is doing out there that are successful and do it consistently. The biggest thing in this business is consistency. It's not even being good, it's being consistent. And that goes with selling insurance, that goes with hiring, that goes with marketing. Everything is about consistency. You just never know when something's going to hit, and you can't predict it. The one thing you can predict and take, your activity is that as long as you control that, then you'll be successful. All of you guys on here, anyone can do this. Awesome. I'm a junior college dropout. I went broke 3 times. I came into insurance not because I wanted to sell insurance, because I had no other options. The one thing I'm good at is I just don't quit, except for junior college. I did quit that. But
we're not counting that one.
I just worked every single day. I put my head down. I didn't let the little things bother me. And, like Julia said, we're working on an integrity deal now. And so if I can do it, every single person on here can. And they don't discriminate. They take young guys like Zach Twardowski. They take old guys like me. If you work consistently, build your agency consistently, because that's what this is about right here, it's going to grow. This is the best platform in the insurance business. Do it consistently. You never know who you're going to pick up, and you never know how big it's going to grow.
John, man, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, man. And
awesome.
I can't wait to see your integrity video coming out. And I can't wait for you to make that dream your reality, and hopefully we'll be able to celebrate one day.
Awesome, guys. Let me know if you can do anything else. All right, take care.
You got it, man. Hey, thank you so much, guys. Drop JG in the chat. Show John some love. John, thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you.
it.
Until next time.
You betcha. Thank you.
Bye.